Take heart. When Jesus encourages someone to take heart, he is bringing them a message of good news. He is bringing them healing and hope. We are followers of the one who is good news. In a world of violence, we witness to peace. In a world of division, we practice community. In a world of need, we serve others. The work is not always easy, but stories give us hope. Our hearts are lifted up. Sharon Norton began leading our work in Global Mission just half a year ago, but she has already visited Church of the Brethren partners in the Dominican Republic, Nigeria, Uganda, and South Sudan. Hear her story.
My name is Sharon Norton, and I'm the Executive Director of Global Mission for the Church of the Brethren. In this role, I'm excited to be meeting people from all over the world. It truly is a global church that we're serving. My very first trip on behalf of the Church of the Brethren Global Mission was to South Sudan in February. One event emerged while we were there in the country, very close to where our headquarters is. One community is a cattle herding community. So their wealth and their status is wrapped up in their cattle. Because the area where they have cattle flooded, there was not enough food for the cattle. So they were thinking, where in this country might we be able to go where there's plenty of food for cattle, grains and grasses? Well, the southern part of the country is a great place for that. Those are farming people. So they loaded up their 100,000 head of cattle into trucks and brought them down to this area with no permission, no warning. They released all of their cattle. What do cattle do? They eat everything in sight. The cattle are full, but the people there, their entire harvest is gone. Not only did they ruin their livelihoods, they also burned down their houses. So this happened while we were there. We got news of this and drove down to where 19,000 people were in a very small local elementary school seeking shelter. It was really hard not to cry. And it's hard not to cry every time I think about it. I have traveled the world in other jobs that I've had, and I have seen poverty, and I have seen suffering, but I have never seen anything on this scale. In that place of hopelessness, I felt like God was saying, this isn't all that I have for you to see here. So in this place where the internally displaced people camp is, we met this woman named Rose. And Rose is a farmer, and not only is she a farmer, she is a community leader. And she said, I'm the president of the Women's Association of this state, and I want to do something. Do you have resources? We had made some phone calls and found out that we had $10,000 earmarked for emergency relief. So we said, we have $10,000, what should we do with it? She said, if you want the majority of the money, or all of the money really, to go to the people most in need, please let my Women's Association women take care of this. And she did it. She got it done when she made all the arrangements, and then we saw pictures of all the food to help feed the people right away, but also to help them go back home and rebuild and have pots and pans and things like that to restart their lives. I take heart when I meet people like Rose because she inspires me. She doesn't wait for anybody else to initiate the work. She's a problem solver. She's a networker. She knows how to mobilize other women and mobilize her community, and she raises her voice, and she's just not afraid. She's not afraid. So that gives me hope.
The Church of the Brethren's disaster response provides assistance to our mission partners around the world. Some happens right here in the U.S., where volunteers rebuild homes and provide specialized care for children. Roy Winter has traveled the world giving oversight to Brethren Service Ministries initiatives for decades. Hear his story.
I'm Roy Winter. I'm the Executive Director of Service Ministries. Service Ministries is the volunteer ministries of the Church of the Brethren, so our long-term volunteer program, Brethren Volunteer Service, our shorter term FaithX trips, Brethren Disaster Ministries, and all the volunteer programs with that, including Children's Disaster Services and the Rebuilding Program. And our areas of specialty is right after disaster. The first part of the operation, if there's local churches involved or a local district, is that they may get organized and local volunteers may help with cleanup or provide relief and support for families immediately. Then we're sending in our Children's Disaster Services volunteers to help care for children at service centers and in shelters. We really feel like our specialty is that long-term recovery, and that we try and be the organization that's there long after the press is gone and the cameras are gone. We're there helping build that last house so that last family gets back into their home and knows what recovery looks like. You know, recently one of the more profound responses has been the Hurricane Helene response. As we think about disasters like that, there's always some families that have these horrific experiences that kind of tell the story for us all. The story of Carl and Linda McMurray from the Walnut Grove Church of the Brethren is a great example of a family heavily impacted. Their home was in Taylor's Valley next to a creek, and as debris backed up on the creek, it came and washed away their house, the house that Linda grew up in. And it took the whole house and broke it apart, to the point where Carl was washed away. Amazingly, he'd thought to get life jackets, so he and his wife both had their life jackets on as he floated down the river. He was eventually able to grab onto a bush and hold on for hours. At the same time, Linda was stuck in this part of the house, still waiting, praying, saying the Lord's Prayer over and over again, saying the Psalms to give her courage and hope. They didn't know each other were still alive at this point. Eventually, a neighbor saw Carl and was able to call for help, and he was rescued by a helicopter. But Linda was stuck in that house for a good 16 hours, we understand, waiting and wondering, not knowing if Carl was alive. And Carl was rescued and with his son, not knowing that Linda was still alive until they were reunited. And the McMurrays are part of that amazing Brethren heritage where not only are they receiving some aid from us a little bit, but they were out serving as soon as they could. They were out helping distribute goods. Even as Carl was still bruised from being injured, they were still there helping out. Even now, every time a volunteer group shows up to help to do rebuilding, like we have teams in North Carolina right now helping with rebuilding, the McMurrays show up to tell their story and help encourage people in this work. I really do take heart from stories like the McMurrays, that not only can they be impacted by the flood, but they have that ability then to still be out ministering to people and see that it's not just about their loss, it's about helping the community recover. It's about helping others know that God loves them and that there are people there to help.
For many, following the example of Jesus means a year in Brethren Volunteer Service or a week at a FaithX project. Serving others is essential to how we understand discipleship. Discipleship also means pressing on toward the great multitude that we see in Revelation 7:9. There was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, from all tribes and peoples and languages, standing before the throne. We are hearing more languages, learning from a wider array of leaders, and seeing a more colorful church. Funa Badet is carrying out this vision in her new role as Director of Intercultural Ministries. She is urgently taking to heart Jesus' instruction to care for the newcomer, the outsider. Hear her story.
My name is Funa Augustin Badet. I am currently the Director of Intercultural Ministries for the Church of the Brethren. Intercultural Ministries is my heart because it's not just about color, it's about being together as brothers and sisters and seeing a better tomorrow together. I know this man from our church in Ohio who is a father of 2 kids, a husband, and he works. He's doing what he can to support his family. He's a church member, he's a brother. He serves at his church. He came to this country fleeing crime. When your family is targeted, you do the hard thing and run. So he was in compliance when he came here. He applied for asylum. His wife was approved, but he's not yet. So he had to do regular check-in. To check in, you come with your documents and they make sure that you're here, you're following the rules, you go to work as you say. And he was called to go that morning for his check-in. And one of his pastors drove him. You know, he thought he was gonna go back home as usual, just a regular check-in. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. They took everything from him, his documents, his phone, and put him in a jail cell, in detention. And when he was able to make that one phone call, because you know you have one phone call, and he called his home, and his son was crying. When am I gonna see you, Daddy? I miss you. And now you have your wife wondering, am I next? Will they come for me too? Who will take care of my children? It was very hard that day. I think that day, our team worked the whole 24 hours because we had to brainstorm what to do. And then we had legal team from Ohio, different people working from different agencies saying, this is what we can do. And then a flyer was already created by our team to do, this is a rally that's going to happen at 4 o'clock. A rally again is going to happen on Monday. The news got into it, NPR got into it. The pastor created a sign saying that Armando is not alone. And then other people started creating different signs in different places. You know, even when they transfer him to another jail, we were able to rally that location as well. This week, we are working on mobilizing different groups to not only go before the judge and continue the work so he can be out, hopefully. That's the goal, get him out. Get him out. I take heart knowing that this work is not in vain. And I take heart because it's not the first rodeo. We've been through worse. I take heart because change is coming.
Through ministries of mission, service, and discipleship, the Church of the Brethren carries God's good news wherever we go, close to home and around the world. How can our hearts not be encouraged? As the Apostle Paul tells us, this hope does not disappoint us because God's love has been poured out into our hearts by the Holy Spirit.